everyone to PopCultX, episode 62, inching our way to 100 very shortly. Can't believe it's been 62 episodes thus far, but thank you for joining us, and thank you so much for listening to us or watching us on YouTube or anywhere where you listen to our podcast. This week is episode 62, so let's go ahead and get right into it and see what we've been up to, what's going on in pop culture. And I'll go ahead and get started. So the thing that is really big for me right now, or something that was like heavy announcement, is that Beyonce was going to be releasing music real soon.
Right.
All her social media sort of went black. Everyone was expecting, oh my God, there's going to be new music, new music. Then finally, she did release some new music, and that is the album. I believe it's going to be called Renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
And the song or single that she came out with was Break My Soul. I've been playing it nonstop. I love it.
Oh,
It
nice.
kind of harkens back to like that 90s house music, club music of the 90s era. Everything right now, 90s is pretty much coming back. So for us, it's kind of interesting because it's like high school years, you know.
We never left it.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's kind of coming around again. I love it. It has Big Frida guest spotlight on it. She kind of introduces the song. They are a rapper from New Orleans that does bounce music, which is very specific to New Orleans, Louisiana. Beyonce has roots in Louisiana. Her mom is Creole. So it's just really cool. It's like a very fun. The lyrics are like, let go of your job, let go of your stress, let go to like, I'm just going to have fun and dance. So I needed it. I definitely with everyone having COVID and being in isolation again. And it was just a perfect song to have fun and listen to and dance to. And so I'm enjoying it. Have you had an opportunity to listen to it?
I did. I just listened to it just before we came onto the show, just so I kind of had a little bit of knowledge about it. And it's funny because earlier today I was listening to 90s summer hits, what I consider, like songs of the summer from like the 90s. So like Sugar Ray Fly or just other songs of that genre. And I was like, I wonder what it's going to be this year. What's going to be that one song that defines like the summer? And I can totally see Break My Soul being that song. It is that fun, upbeat vibe. It makes you want to move, makes you want to dance. And I don't know if this is a change in her music because I'm not a huge Beyonce fan. So I don't know where her musical career trajectory has gone. And if this is in line with it or a different route. But it is a really good song, really fun, like I said. And yeah, I really enjoyed it.
For me, it sort of harkens back to what I loved about Beyonce, because we all know she came out of Destiny's Child. They're a pop R&B group, fun dance songs, club songs.
Right.
And then she released her solo stuff, and it was very much pop influence. But recently, she went through like the Lemonade album, which was like a confessional album about her husband cheating on her, and a very emotional album. I can respect it from the artistic point of view, but obviously like I can't relate to it. So I listen to it and appreciate the artistry of it, but I'm not necessarily listening to it. Whereas, maybe a woman or a person could relate to those lyrics. I know a lot of people really related to that album and love it. But me personally, I could not. And then she did like, I think the Lion King soundtrack, some more like serious artistic work, a little bit more biographical. And now this is sort of like just like a fun jam. It kind of reminds me of Lady Gaga, how she started off as very pop, and then she started doing like this serious lyrics, like being introspective. And then Chromatica came out, and it was like, all right, we're back to
it.
Let's just have fun. And I think that part of that was the inspiration from the pandemic, from the political climate, definitely getting out of like Trump era with Lady Gaga and them as artists realizing that we just need that release and to have fun and to just, have fun. and so I love it. I love just, pop songs that you don't have to necessarily think real hard about, They're not going to make you cry. They're not going to make you feel bad about yourself. They're just you just play them in your song or in your car and dance and have fun. Even Drake, his new album just came out last week, and his is very much like dance inspired.
Okay.
I listened to it. I'm not a huge Drake fan, but I hear some of like the dance influences. It's more light dance music. Like the beats are I think aren't as hard as Beyonce's single. Whereas like if Beyonce is like house music, I think Drake would be like apartment or studio apartment. Like,
Condo music.
yeah, it's not necessarily house. It's house like, it's home like, but it's not quite there. I like the house music. I like the high energy. Um, and so I'm not necessarily feeling the Drake album, but this new Beyonce single, I am very much into. I'm very excited to see if the rest of her album sounds like this, and it harkens back to just like a party. Let's have fun.
Hmm.
I'm really excited about that, especially for the summer. I think that that'll
Yeah,
be
very cool.
yeah. Any other music that you've been listening to?
Um, I was listening, so it's not new, very much so. It's very, I think it's like maybe 60, almost 60 years old. I was listening to the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds last night, actually, and
Yeah,
I was just listening to the harmonies and the melodies of Brian Wilson, his arrangements, and it was just fantastic. Listening to them with in what's it called, like the noise cancellation mode in the AirPods, and just being
yeah,
engrossed in that sound, and
yeah.
just trying to imagine what he was thinking when he wrote that. Because I don't know if you've seen the movie about Brian Wilson with what's his name, the actor that plays him in the movie. Uh, he was just in the Batman as the Riddler, Paul Dano. So
Oh, really?
he played the younger Brian Wilson, and um, who played the older Brian Wilson, because it was like told in like flashbacks.
Yeah,
Um, but it was a really good movie, and it was really showing what he was going through when he was creating that album. Now, as you know, in the mid '60s, it was switching from a pop music, uh, go lightly music, to like the Velvet Underground coming in, and where music has more meaning and a greater depth, and
yeah.
Brian Wilson really wanted to create something around that, so his lyrics more intense, and they were not just the beach pop sounds. So it was the first time I actually listened to the whole album entirely straight through, and it was just great. I
Oh,
really
nice.
enjoyed that. So yeah, Pet Sounds, that's what I've been
I
listening to.
think that that album is probably considered by many critics to be the greatest album of all time. I think that there's at least of classic albums. Then you have like Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Heart
Hmm.
Club by the Beatles. That was they were sort of influenced by each other and by their sounds. Um, I would have to say that like for me, Pet Sounds probably wins over the Beatles if we're looking at their the sound and the album and how I can relate to it or how it impacts me.
Right.
But yeah, definitely one of the biggest albums, influential albums. Just a great album. I mean, I
Hmm.
mean, he is considered a musical genius. Is he? Has he passed? Is he alive?
I think he's still alive.
Is he? Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, look, I mean, I think
He
so.
might have passed away, but I'm not 100% sure. I know he was like somewhat reclusive.
Oh no, actually today or yesterday was his 80th birthday. So happy birthday, Brian Wilson. Maybe that's why I subliminally watched or listened to that album and I didn't even know it. Huh.
Wow, look at you being psychic.
No, it looks like he's still alive and he's touring too. Even
Oh
80
wow,
years old. Wow.
oh
Yeah, I'm
I did
looking
not
at his
know that.
website right now.
Good for
Neat.
him.
Yeah, it was John Cusack who played the older Brian Wilson, and the movie was called Love and Mercy. So
Oh well, I would not have guessed that John Cusack would play him. That's someone that I literally would never have guessed, but he's a good actor.
yeah.
Uh,
So I was watching though. Netflix released a new show created by Ben Falcone, starring Ben Falcone and his wife Melissa McCarthy, called God's Favorite Idiot. I'm not sure if you've heard about this or not. It's a sitcom based in an office environment, and I don't want to give away too much of it because it took me by surprise what it was all about. and I don't want to spoil that for anyone because it was. I was like, really? That's what they're talking about? Oh, that's kind of fun. That's kind of cool. It's exciting. But I guess there's office, they do like IT stuff. So I kind of was like, oh, I could fit right in there. The characters, supporting characters are all great. They all help build up the main characters, which are Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone, of course. And it's just a fun, lighthearted show. You know, it's just something to sit there and watch. And I was just watching them. It's 30 minutes long each episode. So yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. At least give it a shot. One episode. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I did see it on Netflix. I didn't. I think the fact that it was a show, meaning multiple episodes versus a movie, turned me
Mm-hmm.
off to it. Just because at the time I'm like, I don't want to start a series right now. But so I didn't watch it. But something that I did watch was I finally got around to watching the first episode of Miss Marvel, um, and that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know what to expect, so I came in with very low expectations of what the show was going to be like. Outside of like I kind of semi know the character. They did a really good job. I thought
Mm-hmm.
it's not. I don't think I'm necessarily the target like a middle aged comic book fan. That it's definitely probably geared towards a younger audience.
Oh yeah.
But I like the visuals. It kind of reminded me of some of the visuals from Miles Morales, the
Mm-hmm.
Spider
Into
Man.
the Spider Verse. Yeah.
Yeah, because it had like some sort of like mixed media sort of graphics where it's like drawings, graffiti, uh, where it's just very cool, the introduction to it. And one of the things that I really like about it is that they don't um, grace over or they don't skirt around the fact that she's a Muslim American person,
Right.
and they show her family, which I like. I like that we can see, what maybe a typical household is like in a Muslim American family, and some of the obstacles that a young person might have to deal with living in that type of household.
Right.
Conservative parents. Obviously there's specific rules for a young girl versus maybe a young man.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of interesting to see that, and to see that dynamic between her father and her mother and her brother. So it's something that we haven't really seen in pop culture a lot.
Right.
So I think that that's kind of exciting. And then, but to get to like the entertainment portion of it, I think they did a good job of kind of getting the character right. She's sort of like a goofy teenager. She's
Mm-hmm.
not supposed to be, this slick, cool superhero. And she's
Right.
definitely not. They casted someone who I think embodies like teenagehood perfectly. And so I thought it was cool. I didn't see the second episode quite yet. But the first episode, I think that it has put the foundation for a really good show.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see where they go from there.
Yeah. You'll
And see,
like the second episode. I watched it. It's really fun, and I think it to piggyback on what you said, it does pull in that mixed media and reminded me of Mitchell versus the Machines, that
mm,
animated movie, and it's really fun. I mean, like you said, we're not the target audience, but we can still enjoy it.
yeah,
Like my introduction to Miss Marvel, the character, was through the Avengers video game. I had no idea who she was. In that video game, she's going to the Avengers Day, kind of like the Avengers Con in the show, but
yeah,
it's like a day celebrating the Avengers. And she wins a short story writing contest that she wrote about the Avengers. So she's going there to get her award. And then all havoc wrecks loose, of course, in the video game, kind of like what they did in the show. But it's I just thought it was fun. I mean, and not everything has to be serious.
yeah.
Not everything has to be violent. Not everything has to be bash, smash, or
Or
crash.
for adults or for adult
Yeah,
audiences. Like
exactly.
I think that there's a certain understanding that I think like movie makers or filmmakers and animation creators or whatever you want to say, they try to they're whereas previously kids movies used to be for kids,
Yeah,
right? Like they didn't try to make it entertaining for adults, they wanted to entertain the kids. But then it like with Gen X, I think with some baby boomers it was like, well, we want to entertain the parents while they're there,
yeah,
like we
yeah.
want to give like a little bit of adult humor, maybe throw in some inside jokes. But so we have that, like we have stuff that is like wink, wink, kind of nudge, nudge. But not everything has to be like that. So I think that it's kind of refreshing to see something that may be strictly for like a teen audience or
Hmm.
a young audience. Which is cool because we've already got so much material within the Marvel universe, like Moon Knight. I mean,
Exactly.
it's more grittier, and it's the target is a little bit different than I'm sure Miss Marvel is, and that's one of the things that I find interesting about comic fans is like not every single show, movie, comic is going to be for you, and that's okay. Like
Exactly.
you can
Relax.
go read another comic book, you can watch another show, and let that person enjoy that show. And
Exactly.
uh,
Yeah.
because there is enough room for everyone, and so I like it a lot. I think it's going to be really cool and interesting. And then she will transition into the Captain Marvel sequel, which I believe is called the Marvels.
Marvels. Yeah.
So I believe that she'll be in that, and then maybe Captain or not Captain, America Chavez might be in there as well. So and Kate Bishop, I believe. But we'll see what happens. Like I think it's interesting to see how these really cool young characters where they're going to take the MCU. Another pop culture comic book news. They
Hmm.
announced that they are going to be having a sequel to the Joker, the
Right.
iteration with Joaquin Phoenix, and I believe the director is Todd Phillips,
Yeah.
and they're going to be having Harley Quinn part of it, and it is rumored. I don't know if it's like official yet that it's possibly going to be Lady Gaga. So there has been mixed, I think, responses and emotions regarding that.
Well,
I'm
you
in the
forgot
camp.
one piece to that as well. Why
Oh
Lady
yeah,
Gaga
yeah.
will be in it?
Okay, yes. What's that?
It's going to be a musical, which I think is going to be fun, hilarious. It's just going to be so over the top. It's like, why the hell not? Just do it. You know?
Yeah. Well, I could see that maybe in my head that it's going to be from their view, and it's going to be part of their psychoses, like
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I got you.
they're going to go into their world, and then it's going to be musical, and then they'll be like pulled back into reality. That's how I
Yeah.
imagine it's going to
I
be,
can see that. I can see that.
and so
Definitely.
um, I
I
think
mean,
Lady Gaga would be perfect, obviously.
hmm,
For I do love Margot Robbie; she is great
yeah,
as
she
Harley
is.
Quinn, but she is another universe. Like it's a different Joker, a different Harley Quinn. For Walking Phoenixes, I think that Lady Gaga will be do really good. She'll be able to be campy. She'll be able to be serious. She'll be able to have like kind of um, a bit of that somberness that I think is required of that character within that realm.
Yeah.
Obviously, she has the abilities to really pull it off. So I'm really excited. I know that there are some people that are like begrudgingly like, oh, this is going to be horrible. Like always, people always have to have there's always naysayers, but I think this one will surprise people. I think that they'll do
Yeah.
a really great job.
I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, I think, did he do his singing in Walk the Line? I think so.
I think I want
When
to
he played
probably,
Johnny Cash,
yeah,
right? So he's singing that, and of course Lady Gaga. So we know
yeah,
the vocals are going to be there. So it's not going to be like, can they pull it off? Well, yeah,
yeah.
they can. It's just I'm wondering who they're going to get to write the score and songs because I know Todd Phillips wrote the script, obviously, as the creator and director of that Joker universe. But I
Yeah.
don't know if he's going to write the songs. That's the
Well,
question I
I
think that
mean,
I've seen.
maybe they won't be original songs.
True.
Maybe they'll be songs from pop culture that uh, they'll
That
sing,
fit the moment. Yeah.
maybe they won't be original, which I think would be kind of cool because look what they did with their Nirvana song in the Batman.
Hmm.
Uh, that was really cool. There's definitely, I could see them using some songs from like Courtney Love, like Hole for Harley Quinn's character, some like Riot Girl alternative music from the 90s. I mean, just the era of the 90s has a treasure trove of music, I think, that
Hmm.
fit, that angsty, you know, um, loser hero type stuff. Smashing Pumpkins would be really good. Uh,
Smashing Pumpkins.
like tonight. I mean, I think the orchestration from that song with those characters, I think
Ooh,
could be
yeah,
really
I could
moving.
picture that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I could just when I picture the Joker though, I picture like a band like the Specials or something like that. Like Ghost Town, something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Who
I
knows?
mean, there's so many options that they could go
Oh yeah,
through. I mean,
yeah.
look at Kate Bush and how her song is like selling right now because
Mm-hmm.
of Stranger Things, and they could have gone the route of having a modern song or have original score, but they like hit gold with using like a song from the era that that their world exists in. So maybe they'll do that. I don't know. We'll see.
That's actually a
I'll
really
be
cool idea.
either way.
So
Either way, I'll be
Todd Phillips, if you need us to consult, we're here.
and who I think would be actually really good for that of them bringing it in would be Trent Reznor, who
Yes.
has
Mm-hmm.
now won an Academy Award
Mm-hmm.
for his scores and his ability to come up with a great soundtrack, or
Nine
even
Inch Nails
possibly
would be
like,
perfect. Yeah.
yeah, Questlove would be good as well. What was what was the movie that Trent Reznor won an Academy Award for? Do you recall?
Oh, not off the top of my head. I have to look it up, but I know.
Wasn't it something that was like totally not like you
Wasn't
were?
it for Soul, the animated film?
I don't think it was Soul, but it was something that was like kids related. That you're like, wow, this is a guy that
Yeah,
sang the
Academy
lyrics.
Award for Best Music Original Score. Trent Reznor for Soul.
Oh wow, yeah, that's crazy.
Aha.
I thought the one from Soul was that guy that just won all the
John
Grammys.
Baptiste
Yeah.
also did it. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So they worked together.
I guess so. Yeah. Looking at now, I'm double checking my work. Hold on.
You were lying.
Yes, I was wrong. I was lying. No. uh,
He also
maybe
got,
I
I think
was.
he
Well,
won
no,
one for The Social Network as well.
he was nominated for a Mank or Mank. Mank, is that what it is? Um.
He did the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo also
Oh
soundtrack.
wow. Okay.
So he's done like that's his new gig. So
Oh yeah. So he was nominated twice in 2020, 2021. He was nominated for Soul and Mank, and he won for Soul.
yeah,
I was right.
really cool. I think he would be a good choice. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited for it. Obviously, it's going to be some time before we see anything from this. Like it's going to be a
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah.
years. The other thing that we're probably either not going to see for a couple of years or may not ever see is the Flash. I don't know if you've been following the drama with that
Ugh.
crazy kid, but I don't really want to get into it outside of the fact that like I'm disappointed in the fact that we as fans will probably never see that movie. I am of the thought that they should just completely toss it out and start over again. I really don't feel like sitting through a
It's easy
movie.
spending other people's money.
Right. Well, if if he is guilty of the things that he's being accused of,
Hmm.
um, and things that we've seen video of him like assaulting
Yeah.
people. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily want to through an hour and a half to 2 hours of him being a hero.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
it's going
Yeah.
to be really difficult to suspend your disbelief in him as an asshole and be able to believe that he's a hero. And it was just kind of like it's sad that like now these movies are tainted by the lives of whether or not you support or do not support. Like Aquaman is now tainted because of the whole
Hmm.
Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. You have now the Flash is kind of tainted. I mean, even Wonder Woman had a bit of controversy because of her support of the Israel state,
Right.
military.
Right.
So it's just kind of like, can we keep it separate?
Yeah.
Because you guys are
But
ruining my movies. Like the Justice League, especially the Zack Snyder cut, was so good, and I think that the actors that they chose were really good for the characters that they were portraying. And it's sad and unfortunate that now we're seeing like the demise of that character and of that human being in real life. Like I don't know what he's going
yeah.
through, but
Yeah.
it's just. I'm not confident that that's going to ever make it to the big screen. Maybe it'll be on Netflix or HBO, and they'll just kind of, oh, we have to release it because we have investors, and you know
Hmm.
we got to do what we got to do. But I don't think it's going to be out in the theaters anytime soon. So
It makes me wonder. Okay, so go back to the time before everyone has a video camera, back to the time before social media.
yeah,
How much stuff like this was ongoing that we had no idea about, and we supported and watched movies like that because we were um, blissfully ignorant of any wrongdoings. I mean, look how long it's taken for Bill Cosby to finally get his comeuppance
yeah.
of what you know.
And, I mean, that's a great example of us buying into the fact that the man is the character that he was portraying. That he
Right,
was Dr. Huxtable and was a good
right.
dad and was, and I also thought about like Joan Crawford and the image that she
Hmm.
had for her Hollywood fans, and then the behind the scenes was rather
Right.
crazy. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, a lot of drugs, addiction, violence, all of that stuff. I mean,
Wire
was truly,
hangers.
yeah, truly hidden um, from the audiences. And now that I look back, it's like, is that really that bad? Like they got to enjoy those films,
Hmm.
and you didn't have their personal lives affecting. So I mean, it was, I kind of respect the fact that back then the studios did control their talent by limiting the media from being able to document the way they were, and they were very controlling. Obviously, it was horrible for the people. Like I don't want a studio to be like forcing pills on a Judy Garland or anything
Right.
like.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. Yeah, of
But
course.
I kind of like when I don't know the politics of like someone like Julia Roberts who just acts like she's not known for her politics. She's not
Hmm.
known for anything controversial. There's very few and far between. Like, there's not a lot of stars now that are sort of like just down the road, middle of the road, like where you don't know one way or the other.
Right. They
Um,
just do their performance, and
yeah,
their private
which
life is their private life. Yeah.
you kind like I kind of like in a sense, but then I also do respect people that take their platform and stand up for what they think is
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
True.
like a mixed bag, and
You know, it's like, so when they take their platform and they use it for um an activist cause, that's them putting themselves out there to do that. It's
yeah,
when like um paparazzi or TMZ, which I can't stand, go and invade people's privacy and just are vultures. Look at what happened with like Tom Hanks. Did you see that with those paparazzi getting real close, almost knocking over his wife Rita Wilson, and he tells him to back the f off. And good for him.
yeah.
Someone needs to stand up to those vultures because they're there and they're just toxic and they're just profiting off that toxicity. And that's what really gets me so angry is TMZ.
Yeah, the thing that I always kind of find funny is that it's the A-list celebrities that are being chased and hate the paparazzi, but then you go down to Hollywood and you have like the C and D-list actors that would do anything to get the paparazzi's attention, and the
Yeah,
paparazzis are like, "Wait, you want attention? Ugh, if you want it, it's like
you're
we want to
desperate.
hunt people." Yeah, like that just smell, reeks of desperation. But it's so funny to see like the different type of stars, like the stars that are like A-list, that are like baseball caps, don't want to get noticed, like
Hmm.
really want their privacy, and then you have the other ones that are like fully like just,
Look at me.
yeah, like they're going to restaurants on like Sunset. They're like their agents call the press to make sure that they're there, and it's
Mm.
such an interesting dynamic to see both of those.
Hmm.
And you can tell who is obviously has more talent because they're the ones typically that are trying to hide from the paparazzi, whereas the people that maybe don't have enough talent are the ones that like are trying to court controversy and be desperate for attention. So it's kind of funny. That aspect is funny. I agree with you that they're horrible people. The paparazzis are just
Yeah.
making money off of, you know, people's
Yeah.
personal lives, which is really sad.
Yeah. Speaking of personal lives, and I'm going to plug you here a little bit. So you did an interview with a YouTuber, I think,
Yeah,
last week or earlier this week,
yeah.
and I was able to watch some of it. So I'll put a link in the comment box for everyone listening or watching. Gabe gave an in-depth interview into who Gabe is. So if you want to learn more about Gabe, go watch. It's called William's Magical Box, I think. And
William in the Magic Box. Yeah.
William and the Magic Box. So if you really want to learn more about Gabe, go watch that interview. It's very insightful. You'll learn a lot about him. And yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was interesting being on like, the other side of an interview for
Hmm.
once. I showed my dad some clips of it, and he sort of made me laugh because he's like, are you ever going to stop talking and let him talk? And I'm like, I'm being interviewed. Like he's asking me questions. So it was kind of funny, but it was fun. It definitely was interesting. Some of the questions kind of they weren't planned, so it was
Okay.
like spur
Hmm.
of the moment questions, and some of them really had me thinking. So it was kind of interesting. I think that those are some of the best interviews is
Yeah.
when you don't come in totally prepared.
Yeah.
If the person is willing to kind of go there and uh, kind of have that instantaneous thought process while they're being recorded. Otherwise, if someone is really controlling and wants to control
Hmm.
the dialogue, then it might not be all that fun. But it was a good experience. Yeah, it was. He is Brazilian of descent, but he lives in London,
Oh,
and
nice. Okay.
I shared with him that I will be going to London for my birthday, not this August, but next August. So, he said that he'd buy me a drink and show me cool places to hang out. So I'm looking forward to
Nice.
that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So, what else is on your pop culture purview this week?
I would have to say that's pretty much it. I that's all I have really been seeing.
Oh, tomorrow or today, depending when you're watching this. Okay, June
Yeah.
22nd, Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness is coming to Disney Plus, everyone. I finally get to watch it. I'm
Oh
super
wow,
excited. I'll be watching it probably at midnight, maybe even tonight. Just to, I'm just excited to watch it. So,
it's really
or if you're
good.
going to watch it again. So enjoy it. Yeah, that's my last thing. I'm just excited.
I'm excited. I haven't been thinking about when the release date is, but they did such a good job of making certain characters really evil and scary and it being suspenseful. There's one scene in particular that is just really, really cool that shows the villain at their peak of evilness or
Mm-hmm.
villain hood or whatever. I don't know what.
Villainous.
And and it's just really cool. Sam Raimi did a great job with the characters. Um, it introduces America Chavez. Just really cool. It's there's a lot of really cool things that I think that you're going to be excited to see.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm excited for you to see it, and I will be watching it tonight as well because I don't work tomorrow, so I can stay up late, and I'll probably watch it tonight as well. So
Very
that's good
cool.
news. Thank you for letting me know because I'm now very excited to watch it again.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I think then that wraps it up for this episode. Nice, short, and sweet, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for showing up each week. We apologize for our week off. We were at the beach, well, in our minds. But thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and we will see you guys next week.
Yeah.